hate stems from something that happened to them in their past. So we gotta love everybody. My challenge to y'all is to refuse to be enemies.
Is that Brad Poles?
Do I hear Brad Poles?
Yes, sir. That's my name, yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to El Dorado. For the second time this summer, we are out here doing a live event. This time, the first ever live Underwater Fly Zone podcast episode. We got a nice crowd out here tonight. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Come on. Yes, sir. I am so excited for this, and I'm also so excited because we got the boy returning back for the third time tonight, Kellen Overstreet, on the podcast. Make some noise for Kellen, y'all. Come on. Kellen, how you doing today, bro?
I'm good.
You
Man,
good?
I'm real good.
You nervous?
Yeah.
You nervous at all?
Always.
Hey.
Always nervous.
Yeah. Hey, nervous is kind of like, it's kind of how you look at it. Like, I remember last show, I thought there was going to be 40 people here, but there was like 100 at least. Like, it was crazy. And my friends were asking me, are you nervous? And I was like, I'm excited. It's the same emotion. It's just how you look at it. Like, nervous and excitement's kind of the same. I don't know. That's just me being weird. That's how I roll. But anyways, well, yeah, welcome to the podcast today. It's been a crazy journey planning this out, y'all. It's been really a blessing to see how it all played out, because when did I hit you up to do this episode?
It was in June.
Early
in
June? Yeah, so I hit Kellen up because I wanted to get him on again, and I messaged you saying, hey, do you want to get on the podcast and talk about what we're going to talk about today? We'll get into it. And he was like, yeah, bro, for sure. And then I hit up Joe, my guy. Shout out El Dorado for letting us do another free event. Shout out to El Dorado and the boy Joe. Yes, sir. So Joe said, I got an opening for this Friday. The day he said he had an opening for this Friday, because I had planned to do a live podcast here, Kellen texted me and he's like, hey, bro, I got an opening for next Friday. And I was like, wait a second. Something's mathing here. The math is mathing, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, all right, let's tap in with this. So I asked Kellen, I called him, and I'm literally at work in the aisles at Walmart pushing the cart, calling Kellen, and I'm like, hey, Kellen, would you be down to do something crazy with me? And he's like, what is it, bro? And I was like, would you want to do our podcast with a live audience at El Dorado next Friday night? He was like, hey, let me check in with my wife, with the kids, see if it works out. And it all worked out, baby.
Yeah,
it all worked out. Yes,
Ready
sir. Yes, sir. Okay, so before we also get into it, I kind of want to tell you guys a insane story. So that was cool how that worked out, but some other stuff worked out pretty well tonight. So the merch drop, as y'all know, sold out in literally less than 48 hours. Shout out my boy Brad Poles in the back. Me and him grinded on the merch. You already know. So that was lit, and we were like, let's do a reorder. We did the reorder, and the reorders pretty much sold to the point where we needed it to. So we're like, all right, let's keep this summer going. It's July 4th. It was about July 4th when we're talking. I'm like, I'm not ready to quit yet. We went hard at the beginning. Let's finish it hard too. Let's do another live podcast episode. We did it. We're here right now doing it. Let's also do another merch drop, same design, different colorways. So we did it. The pink and the vintage black, they came in literally today. What are the odds they come into the day of the podcast episode? That was not planned. That was just God working. So I'm like, hey, say less. And then what also happened today was I ordered 3,000 stickers, and they just happened to come in today as well. But that was a little sketchy. I got a funny story for you guys. Shout out to my mailman right here. He's here today. Shout out to my mailman. What happened was I drove down to Kansas City to grab the shirts for the event tonight. Got the shirts. On my way home, I get the notification that the package delivered, but there was some other writing, but I was driving, so I didn't read all the rest. I just said, like, a delivery was attempted. I was like, what's that mean? It's got to be there, right? I get home to a note on my door. It said we needed someone to be there to sign off on it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I need those tonight. Like, I went into automatic, like, panic mode. I was like, all right, we got to get the stickers. I got to find out how. I will literally find whoever the mailman is. I will track him down and find him to get these stickers for tonight. I was going to go to the post office after I took Macy home, but on the way to taking Macy home, I remembered, I know the mailman. So what? I run the wiffle ball league. Y'all know this. I run the wiffle ball league. About 5 years ago, 4 years ago, a couple years ago, we're out here doing a wiffle ball tournament, and the mailman pulls up. We're like, why is the mailman pulling up to the wiffle ball game? He comes out, and he says, basically, hey, I've been watching you guys for the last 5 years playing wiffle ball out here. I just want to say how much I love it, and, like, kids need to be doing more of this. Pretty much coming out saying that he loves what we're doing. It was cool. It was awesome. And then we added each other on Facebook, and we just kind of been on Facebook friends, you know what I'm saying? But so today, it came back to me. I know the mailman. I call him on Facebook Messenger, no answer. So I'm like, yeah, that ain't going to work. I'm still going to have to go to the post office. I get a call back, though, after I drop Macy off from my boy, the mailman. He calls me back, and he's like, hey, bro, I'm still in Raintree if you want to make this happen. Meet me on, I won't say the street, but meet me on X Street. And I was like, all right, say less. So I drove, met my boy. He got me the stickers, and so they're here today. It's crazy how it all worked, bro. The devil was really trying to be like, hey, you ain't getting those stickers. This is way too perfect for you. I'm going to throw a little rock in your road. And God was like, nah, you met the mailman 5 years ago. Who would have known? Everything's kind of full circle. Isn't that crazy? Like, life is so fun, bro. Life is so. Anyways, I did not drive Kellen or have Kellen drive all the way out here, like an hour and a half drive. I didn't have him come all the way out here to me to just not talk to him. So how you doing, bro? Let's get into this. So I want to start this off right. Kellen, I just want you to introduce yourself to the people. I know we've done 2 episodes in the past, but let's just pretend we never did. Let's just talk today. Let's just talk and see what comes out of us. I want you to introduce yourself to the people to start this thing off.
Alrighty, so my name is Kellen Overstreet. I am from Hamilton, Missouri. I grew up in a Christian home, which was an absolute blessing, and we'll probably talk about it a little more.
For sure. But
I grew up loving the game of football. Started playing when I was 5, 6 years old, and I knew my dad took me to my first Chiefs game when I was 7 years old, like a big surprise. And we sat down next to this guy, and he started talking all about football, and that's when I was like, okay, I want to do this for a long time. Like, I love football. I want to keep doing this. And so growing up, I started putting all my efforts towards football. It was probably my junior year is when I started getting a lot of looks from colleges. I had a great year, started setting records. I started getting a bunch of calls and things like that. And that first big offer was from the University of Wyoming. And, my dad was telling me, hey, you might not get many more, which kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. But I was like, you know what, shoot, Dad, I'm going to take it. It's an opportunity to play Division I football and something I had always dreamed of. And so I decided to commit the summer before my senior year.
Yeah. So before you get into the college part, this dude is very humble, almost too humble. Let's talk about how good that season was at Hamilton. I mean, you're on some national rankings behind one below Derrick Henry. Am I correct?
I mean, it might have been.
Yeah,
who knows?
It might have been pretty good. This dude holds like every record for Missouri high school running back ever. Like, and then nationally ranked. I saw you repost something one time, and it was like, it was Derrick Henry's high school rushing yards, and then Kellen Overstreet right below. Like, so how good was that year, bro? Like, I know you a humble boy. Yeah. We all know it. Talk about it a little bit. Talk about how good that high school experience was.
So, my junior year was good, and I exceeded all my expectations. And then going into senior year, I had committed. I knew where I was going, so I could just kind of let loose.
Yeah.
And my coach had a bunch of trust in me to give me the ball probably way too many times. But no, I ended up rushing for over 4,000 yards my senior year. I had 70 touchdowns, which was one shy of the national record at the time. So
yeah, something light, something light.
So I mean, it was fun, and I wasn't trying to break any records. Like I was looking to win a state championship.
Yeah.
We had won one my sophomore year, and that was kind of my coming out party. Like I had one of my best all around games I've ever played.
Yeah.
But that senior year, I just kind of let loose and just played and getting to the end of the season, seeing how close I was and how many records I had broken in Missouri, it was cool. And
yeah.
It was a good season.
Cool to say
Fun
the least.
Season.
So sorry, I had to interrupt you and
that's all good.
just hit that a little harder. But anyways, Wyoming reaches out. You accept. Continue from there.
Yep. So Went up to Wyoming, and that freshman year I had the opportunity to play. And the first like few practices, I tweaked my shoulder a little bit, and I was like, went to the trainers, and they were like, hey, we're just going to rehab it. It's probably no big deal. So kind of fast forward to that last game of the season. I'd been playing all right, kind of getting in some games. I had scored a touchdown. I had a couple decent games, and the coach or the trainer came up to me and was like, hey, listen, we didn't want to scare you this whole season, but you tore your labrum in your shoulder.
Did he say this before the game?
Yeah, this was before the game. So he's like, we didn't want to make you nervous or anything like that, but you did tear your labrum right after this game. Like in the next couple weeks, we're going to get surgery, get it taken care of, no big deal. So I was like, okay. Like I kind of knew in the back of my head, I was like, it is torn because it still hurts and it shouldn't be hurting for this long.
Yeah.
But in that game, probably 5 minutes in, I was back returning a kickoff, saw an open lane, and I got hit from the side, and when I planted my foot, I hyperextended my knee and tore my ACL. And so they were like, on top of my shoulder, I have to get ACL surgery first. And whenever I could start walking again, then I got the shoulder surgery. And that kind of just rolled into a bunch of injuries that kept happening. I sat out for my sophomore season and just rehabbed. I got bigger, stronger, a little bit faster because with that ACL, it's kind of tough to get back to full speed. But and then that next year, my redshirt sophomore year, I got to play quite a bit. I was a second string guy most of the season, but I mean, towards the end of the season, I was getting a lot of good minutes and getting the bulk of the carries. And then that last game we played in the Idaho Potato Bowl, which is just kind of a funny, it's almost a joke. It's not a joke because it's a big game and it was.
It was
really
at
fun.
Boise State's Blue Field, right? Yeah.
So get into that game, first 5 minutes, I feel that same sensation of tearing my labrum as the other labrum now, and so. It was just frustrating. I knew that I tore it. I didn't want to tell anybody because I was like, I just want to keep playing. I don't want anything. Like, I have such a great opportunity right now. I'm moving up on the depth chart. Like, I got to just keep grinding. Yeah. And so, get the spring ball. First practice, we have contact. Dude just comes and hits me and tears it a little more. And I was like, I can't do this. Like, and the trainer was like, yeah, you tore it. So I ended up getting shoulder surgery again on this other shoulder. And then rehabbed it, and I was like, I'm gonna keep trying to do this. Like, this is my dream. I'm trying to play football for as long as I can. And so going into fall camp, a couple weeks, maybe a week before we play, I wake up, get out of bed, and start walking. My knee pops, and I'm just like, what is going on? I can't straighten my leg all the way. I'm limping. I'm like, man, this is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And so kind of started working in, and I'm still working through the pain, and they were like, hey, we just want to get some x-rays and just check it out. And found out I didn't have any cartilage in between my femur and tibia and had a little crack in my femur. And they were like, they said, listen, you can play this season. No surgery, anything like that, but you're going to have trouble walking when you're 40. And I was like, that's not something I'm willing to do. And so I ended up calling it quits and getting that surgery on my knee. And it was tough. It was tough because I had worked so hard for something for my whole life, and to not be able to end it the way that I wanted to end it was just heartbreaking and put me in a depressive state, and it was tough.
Every time I hear that story, I mean, this is my third time hearing it. Dude, it's just so heartbreaking because you know your potential, mm-hmm. and like it was so possible what could have been, especially seeing who your quarterback was, Josh Allen. Yep. Don't like the guy as a person, don't like the guy as a player, but that dude balling, you know what I'm saying? So that's tough, but like that's very like hard to hear, but like. The crazy thing about life is we can live so many different lives in our time span. You were once, stud high school football player, and then it seems like God closed that door and opened a new one. So I want you to talk about that, because the crazy thing is about your story, it's so similar to a few that we've already had on this season, mm-hmm. or this season on the podcast in the last couple of weeks. We had first story was one of my good friends came on and talked about basically he grew up playing baseball, wanted to be in MLB, gets cut from his high school baseball team. So everything he had known and loved, and he thought he was so good, like being rejected like that really set him into a depressive state, and he found his identity in something else, which is similar to you. And then same with we had someone come on episode 4 share a similar story, and then even last episode, my boy Spencer was talking about finding identity in good grades, this, that, and then when that thing ends, because everything ends in this world, right? Like this world is broken. What that means is everything will come to an end. A broken world means everything will one day die out. You know what I'm saying? We'll die. This El Dorado place one day won't be here anymore. This podcast, this brand won't even be here anymore. Nothing on this world will last forever, but there is something that will last forever. And a lot of people end up finding it in that season when their identity is destroyed and then something else happens. So I want you to talk about, because it sounds so bad right now at this point in your story whenever football ended up not working out, and all the big dreams like we talked about, you'd realize they weren't going to be able to happen, but that's not where it ends, bro. That's not where it ends. So I want you to talk about, first of all, the depths that it put you through, and then the come up out of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So after I had hurt my shoulder the second time, I know it's a lot of stuff, but
unfortunately.
After that had happened, I was extremely depressed, anxious. I had a lot more going on than just football seeming like it's coming to an end. I was in a long-term relationship that looked like it was gonna end. My grades were terrible. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and so with football ending, it's like you have to figure out something else that's gonna last. And so I was struggling, and a story that I shared before, I'll kind of share it again. But that summer I had just woken up in the middle of the night, and I was just sweating, and I'm like, what's going on? I couldn't, my brain wouldn't shut off. I was pretty much having a panic attack, and I was like, I got to go home. Like I just have to go back to Missouri, see my family. And I call my mom. Because no one else would answer. It's 3 a.m. I call my mom. She answers. She's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm telling her I don't feel good. I need to come home. And she had woken my dad up, and I just hear over the phone like, you need to stay there, stick this out. And I just lost it. I started bawling and throwing things against the wall, and like I was freaking out because I felt like nothing was working out. And they calmed me down. They're like, "Hey, just come home." So I drove 10 hours back to Missouri in the middle of the night just to try to find some peace or figure something out.
Yeah.
And so, after that had happened, I went home for about a week. And then, coaches were calling and telling me, "Hey, just, hang out and just get your mental right because that's super important." Yeah. We care about you as a person more than you as a football player. So, did that, came back, and I was still just struggling. Like it wasn't a quick fix going home. I remember there was a week where I didn't go to class. I didn't get out of my room. Like I just stayed there. And one of the things that kind of helped me out was I had this belief in Christ that I kind of talked about earlier from being in that Christian home. And at the time I had put football so far ahead of Christ that I felt like he couldn't hear me and I couldn't hear him. And so, I kept getting glimpses of God throughout this depressive state that I was in. I would get friends call me and say, "Hey, you going to Bible study tonight?" And I'd be like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm feeling it. And they'd be like, "Hey, I got you. I'll pick you up. Let's go." Mm-hmm. And so we'd go and it'd just be that uplifting, that light when everything was dark. And so going through that, and then also I started seeing some people and opening up about what was going on. I started talking to a psychologist regularly. I started seeing the team doctor, our FCA director, our head coach would bring me into their office and just talk to those guys, and that really helped things move forward. Like without that, I wouldn't be here talking. Like I wouldn't have the courage to come up and speak about all these hard times that were going on.
Yeah.
And so it all began with that belief in Christ, and even when things were tough, he was still there. He was still showing up.
Yeah.
And it just took a couple years to
For sure.
trust him and know that, hey, I can go back to you and trust you, and everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. So in that moment, whenever you say going through a panic attack in your room, throwing things at the wall, did it almost feel like you were not even in control of your own body in a way? Because I feel like I've been there before, like when you've been so low that you're like saying things or doing things, and you're like, this ain't even me. Like,
Yeah.
what am I doing? Like, this is not even me, you know? So
Yeah.
would you say would you relate to that? in a way?
Yeah, like when I'm telling you, I've never cried like this before.
Yeah.
Where, like, I can't breathe, and like I can't control anything, and I'm just getting frustrated that I can't even breathe, and I'm crying on the floor. Like,
Yeah.
bro, it was bad. I had no control over
And
what was going on.
It's crazy, like you were there at one point, and now, coming out of that. And you say Christ was always there. Christ was the consistent. How was he the consistent? Like people might not be able to understand, like, what literally did it feel like him being present with you through all of it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's more that I see it looking back now.
Yeah.
You know? Like in the moment,
100%.
you don't see a lot of that. Like you don't recognize those moments where Christ was involved.
Dude,
And
100%.
I think just looking back, it's like, there are some times like I probably shouldn't physically be here but Christ stepped in. That saying, but God. If you've heard that before, like that's just, it was that. And looking back, it's like, man, that's incredible. Like there's no way I can't believe. Because I shouldn't be here right now.
Yeah.
And he's the only way that I'm here right now.
And it's crazy, like, we didn't even know each other, but after we talked about our stories, it was like, wait a second. Yeah, our stories were so different, but felt like God saved us in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how can he do that in the same way with two people that don't even know each other? You know what I'm saying? Crazy stuff. But how'd you end up at Northwest? That's my question. Because I met you at Northwest as a PE major. So you were at Wyoming. How'd you end up at Northwest? I think you told me before, but, let's remind me.
Yeah. So, let's see. That winter, I left after that last surgery that I had. I came back to Missouri, came back to Hamilton. I spent a semester just kind of hanging out at home. And while I was at home, I kind of started to be like, okay, I need to figure out something that I really want to do, something I want to be. And I was like, I kind of want to get into education. Like, I love people. I love kids. I love coaching and being a part of a team and things like that. So I was like, I think Northwest isn't too far from my home. I was like, that's where I think I want to go and get into physical education. So.
And I met this dude, and this dude was literally the most positive energy you've ever met. Like we had a class. What was it? Life activity and dance.
Oh,
That's the PE class, baby.
That
You
was
already
a
know
good
what's
one.
going on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had life activity and dance, 8 a.m. on Tuesday and Thursday, though. So waking up at 8 a.m. to go dance was but, it is what it is. We had a good time. But it didn't even matter that it was 8 a.m. This dude's in there. We were doing step aerobics.
Oh, yeah.
And this dude's had to teach, and he's over there, hey. Or I would be teaching, and he's one of my students, and we were having a good time in there. And I was like, how's this dude is like the most positive dude I've ever met. And then it was crazy because when we did the podcast, I knew nothing besides, he had a lot of good stats in high school. That's why I did the podcast. Then you started telling me all the other stuff. I'm like, wait, whoa. Like, I didn't know we was getting deep today. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it was so, man, it's just crazy because I feel like that's how it goes a lot of times. It's like the people that have been through so much crap can see life in such a more positive way because you know what a bad day looks like. Like, know what it looks like to really be down bad. So, like, today's not that day. Today's a good day. We're out here having a good time. And that's a message for everybody. Like, life will give you a reason to have a bad day soon enough. So, don't rush it. Like, if you're still alive, the people you love are still alive, it's a good day. Maybe you got a flat tire. Maybe you had to sit in traffic. That ain't real. That ain't real, like, life-altering issues. You know what I'm saying? Don't give yourself a reason to have a bad day because life's going to give you a reason soon enough. You feel me? But anyways, so you went to Northwest. We had life activity and dance or whatever it's called. And then tell me from then till now what's happened because, we've been off and on. I wouldn't say we talk consistently, but, this is my guy. But update me, you know what I'm saying?
Let's see. So after Northwest, I ended up getting a para job at Chillicothe High School.
Yep.
So I'm working with special needs kids, and that was just a huge blessing. I think it was kind of a change of pace, and just being able to work with kids and man, there are a lot of kids that I just loved being around and just helping, and it really gave me, that job made me realize, like, this is what I'm supposed to do. You know, I'm supposed to be around these kids and finding a reason to love somebody when probably I shouldn't because they're getting on my last nerve type of thing.
Yeah.
But no, so after that, I ended up getting my degree, just general studies degree, so that I could be a physical education teacher. And this is my second year, going into my second year as a PE teacher.
There we go.
Coaching high school football, coaching high school track.
Mm-hmm.
You know, personal life stuff. I got married.
Yes, sir. Congrats,
Which
baby.
was fun.
You already know.
It's a blast. You know, had a baby.
Hey,
too.
that's
so it's
sick,
just,
dude.
Life's moving fast, but it's fun. I'm enjoying every part of life right now. So
That's so great to hear, and it's just so crazy. Like I said, you will have a season of your life that is so rough. It feels like it's never gonna end, and then eventually, like, it does end, and you're just where you're at now, loving every season of life, and it's crazy how life works out like that. And tell me how you went from that low to being able to enjoy every season of life, like you just said. Like, tell me some of the steps that you took to get there, or some advice to the people that maybe they feel like, I am in that season of depression and of this and that. How do I get to that next season? What's some advice you got on that?
So some advice, just believing in Christ, finding that relationship with Christ, for me was super important.
Yeah.
Not everybody has that belief or finds peace in another power, but that's what I believe in, and that really is something that helped me get out of that. Just trusting that he, his plan is better than my plan, because my plan didn't work out.
Yeah.
I'm not in the league getting paid millions.
Yeah. Which would have been cool, but like God has other plans for your life. You know.
Absolutely. So that's one thing. The other thing is, just being open and honest with people that you're comfortable to be around, and maybe even people you aren't comfortable to be around.
Yeah.
I still remember my first visit with a psychologist, sitting there on the couch, and he's like, "Tell me what's going on." And I hadn't told anybody, like, the real things that were going on, and I just let it all out.
Yeah.
And the thing that it started to give me peace is he said, "Man, that's a lot." And at the time I was like, I'm being a wimp, or this isn't,
That's how
this isn't
a
a
lot of
big
people-
deal. But he said, "Man, that's a lot."
That's how I thought of it too at times.
Oh,
So,
yeah. And so
for
finding
myself.
people that you trust and that you can talk to, or people that you may have to be a little more uncomfortable around to talk to, and being honest, It's tough to find your way out of something if you're telling a lie to somebody, and even yourself. Like, just being honest, because people who really love you aren't going to turn their back on you if you're being honest and telling them what's really going on. And so, and I learned that real quick, and like I said before, like, that's given me the ability to talk about, my flaws, my struggles, my everything on this podcast in front of you guys.
Yeah.
With my wife, being vulnerable with my wife, that's being able to talk to somebody, finding that community that you kind of fit in with, and just being vulnerable, I think, was the other thing that really helped me.
For
get
sure,
out.
bro. For sure. And like you said, like, I remember when I was going through my problems, I'm sitting here thinking, dude, people got it so much worse than me. Like, who even cares? Like, just get over it. But it's like, bro, your problems are relevant if they're actually making you feel depressed and have anxiety and all this stuff. And you need to acknowledge that. And, like, I feel like we live in a world where everybody's thought process when they face someone with depression, they're like, oh, let me go take you to get ice cream. Let me play the Wii with you. Let's distract you from your problems. But in reality, it's like, that stuff helps at times, but at some point you're going to have to face those problems, or else they're just going to sit deep within you, and then when you're 55 years old, it's going to still be in you, and you're just going to be a bitter person, you know what I'm saying? So I think something else is, like, acknowledge that your problems are worthy of, acting on. Just because other people are going through worse stuff doesn't mean your problems aren't worth anything. Like, if it's really making you feel bad, acknowledge that, and then do things to actually face your problems. Don't just distract yourself, because it's good to distract yourself. I remember when I was depressed after my friend died, I'd play Wii Sports Baseball all the time. That was my thing. Wii Sports Baseball, just distracting myself. But like that prolonged the healing process because it's cool at times to distract yourself. You don't always want to be down, but at some points it's like you just need to sit in your room and cry and just let it out. Like let all that emotion out. You need to find people that you're comfortable with and talk to them and let it out. Like it's got to be let out because if it's not let out, it's just going to sit. And if it sits, it's not going to go anywhere. And if it doesn't go anywhere, you know, it's going to affect you your whole life. So the next step would be to actually, you know, face your problem, attack your problem. And something that I did want to bring you on here for is I feel like the devil loves to just take advantage of us when we're at our lowest point. Like, you know the saying, God is love? Well, the devil is hate. The devil hates you more than you know. And like, he'll make you think that he loves you. He'll make you think, oh, you need to do this. You need to do that. You need to, an example I gave at my show last time is, you know those random intrusive thoughts you get, like walking down the aisle at Walmart, some dude's walking by you, and for some reason you have that thought in your head of like, I just want to punch this dude in the face, like for no reason. For no, like y'all get that, you know what I'm saying? I get it too. Or the thought you have of like, you're driving down the highway and you're just like, what if I just like skirt into the ditch? Like just something stupid. Like you would never do it, but it's just like an intrusive thought and you just kind of push it down. I feel like when we're down at our lowest, the devil loves to throw thoughts at us like, you should kill yourself. You should, just some bad stuff that you should never do. And you think that it's coming from you, but it's not. That ain't you. Like that is the devil kicking you when you're down. So don't listen to that stuff, bro. Listen to what is true, which is the Bible. Like literally, that's why a lot of people, I know like not everyone believes in God and stuff. Like when you come to me for advice, like I try to push everyone to God because I know what helped me. I tried a million different things to get through depression. I tried listening to XXX Tentacion all the time. That was cool. Like he was good. I tried, you know, just acting like a happy guy, like just being the happy guy at, you know, school or whatever. That didn't work. Like what worked was giving my life to God, you know, like that is what it was. And I can't even sit here and explain necessarily how that looks, but like I hope you can find it for yourself. I know we have all these different preconceived ideas of what that looks like, but you really just got to find it for yourself. Like that's my best advice. Is there any advice that you would like to give to people on how to find God? Because to me, that's the only thing that ever worked was when I really started to believe, really started to follow, all those depressed thoughts, all those intrusive thoughts, just cleaned. Like it's a piece that I can't even explain. That's the thing. Like it's hard. I can't sit here and explain. Can't sit here and have God appear right here. Like, but it's real. Like it saved me. So, would you have any advice? Because it's hard for me to explain that stuff.
Yeah. So like,
it's tough to explain in general.
Yeah. But like figuring out something that gave me peace was just figuring out how much God loves us. And like, for me, I got a really good example at one of the Bible studies that I still remember from whenever I was struggling, and it was, you know, the Heavenly Father versus the earthly Father, and it gave the example of mowing the grass, right? And so our earthly Father is going to ask us to mow the yard, okay? And His love is going to be based on how we mow the yard. So we're nervous already because we're like, man, if I screw this up, he's gonna be so mad. He's you know, this is I can't screw this up. But our Heavenly Father, he's just like, listen, I love you so much. And he's like, I don't care how you mow the grass, but I'd like for you to mow the grass. Yeah. And so you go out there knowing, like, man, He already loves us. If I screw up a little bit or I mess up, it doesn't matter. He's still gonna love me. But I'm still gonna do my absolute best because He loves me so much. So I'm going to go out there, 100% confidence, all right, and mow that grass. And so getting that visual in my head was like, man, I'm going to screw up. I have screwed up. He's still going to love me, you know, and realizing that He's going to love me, it allows me to do everything for Him. And it, like I said, if I mess up, man, you know, I'm going to be hurt. He's going to be hurt, but He's still going to love me. He's still going to bring me in, and He's not going to whoop me because I screwed up the grass. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. My dad won't even let me mow the grass. So. He loves the yard, bro. But no, that's a great. I just had to say that. I'm sorry, but yeah, dude, that's a great example. And it's like, what is mowing the grass? Mowing the grass is giving your life to Christ and following. You know, like the path to follow God is not easy, but Caitlin, you said this, bro. You said the path to following Christ is not easy, but it's better than
any life you can live without it, you know? So yeah, dude, and that's what mowing the grass is in that situation. Like, yeah, it's going to be rough, dude. Like, you are not going to do it perfectly. Honestly, the grass will look horrible, but as long as you get the job done, as long as you follow, like, that's all he really cares about in the day. God loves you more than you know. So for sure. Man, what else could we get into? Do you want to get into some, like, actually, before we get into some funny stuff or some more lighthearted stuff, actually, let's get into that right now. I'm drawing a blank. So, change the topic a little bit. My boy Kellen went to college at Wyoming. What years? 16?
15 through 17.
15 through 17. So, if you know Wyoming football, you would know that's when Josh Allen was there, the Buffalo Bills quarterback that, like I said, hate him as a player, love him as a dude. He's a cool dude, I think. Is he a cool dude? Let's start there.
So, Josh is just like, you see all this stuff on social media, he's just a goofy guy, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, he would just do random funny stuff at practice just to mess with you. And I remember one time, you know, we're just going through routes or whatever. He throws me a ball, and he puts his hand up. He's like, hey, like, throw it back to me.
Yeah.
And so as I'm throwing it, he purposely turns his head so that the ball hits him in the helmet and then turns around like, what's going on, man?
Nice.
And then the coach is ripping me because I hit Josh Allen in the back of the head. And then I'm walking back to the huddle. He just gives you a little wink. You know, it's one of those things. Like, he's a lighthearted, you know, fun guy to be around. Like,
for sure.
All that stuff you see out there is pretty much, that's him. Like, he's not putting on a front for anybody.
That's so sick, dude. But like I said, okay, I did ask you this before. 13 seconds left. Mahomes has the ball. We're down 3. What do you want to happen in that situation? Were you hoping that we did that or what? I know you're Kansas City.
It was cool. I love the Chiefs. I love seeing the Chiefs win. But, you know, seeing my old teammates succeed is like, it's kind of like just a little bit above because I have no, like, affiliation with the Chiefs. So,
yeah.
I
feel that.
It sucks. I'd love to see Josh get a Super Bowl at some point, you know.
Yeah.
But I do like seeing the Chiefs win. That was a cool win. I won't lie.
That was a good one.
I was screaming at the TV for quite a while. So.
Bro, okay. Last question. I think I've asked you this before on a podcast too, but best moment, best memory with Josh Allen. What was it?
Best memory?
I know you told the one of him challenging to the longest throw competition, but if you have a different one or if you want to say that one again, I don't know.
I mean, we weren't like best friends, right?
Yeah,
so we weren't hanging out all the time or
Respect
anything
you for
like
saying that because a lot of dudes, if they played with him, would be, bro. Me and Josh, I mean, we went to Cancun together like 4 times in like 1 week.
No,
It's just so random.
He was just fun to be around, and like as a football player, he's a great leader. You know, he was a big part that I know we haven't talked about it really, but that CSU game.
Yeah.
So we had a game. Blizzard, second half blizzard.
I do want to ask you about this too. I had a few questions.
Yeah, craziest weather game I played in.
Mm-hmm.
But we were down, and to see him, he fumbled the drive before we went down and scored.
Yeah.
So like seeing him come back from fumbling the ball, and we're like, man, this game's over. There's about 6 minutes left.
Yeah.
We're like, this game's over. And to see him kind of lead us, he threw an incredible pass. He ran for another 15, 20 yards.
I seen that.
And then, I got the ball a couple times and ended up scoring on the goal line. But to see him, come back from having that big fumble that felt like it should have changed the game, he came back and responded. So,
yeah.
No, he's a great leader, and he was really fun to play with.
That's sick, dude. So I don't know if you know this, but when I make our promos for our episodes and stuff, I literally probably have seen every highlight on YouTube of you. So like when I was watching your highlights, it was that game. I think I used it in the promo for this. So if you watched that promo, you saw the run, the Josh Allen 15-yard run you were talking about. But also, you had the play. You had a big run. Josh makes that run. And then you have, when you punch it in for the touchdown to win the game, basically, you score. It's in the bowl game, right? It was a bowl game?
It's a big rivalry.
Okay,
yeah.
So a big game. You score. Huge game. You drop the ball and you point up to the sky. So with all the crap you had been through, and you haven't even been through the worst of it yet at the time, right? So you punch it in though, and you point up to the sky. How do you feel in that moment when you're pointing up, knowing that you just did that? Like it was you. You put the ball in the end zone. It was your lineman. I know you're gonna say it was the lineman. It was the team. How'd you feel in that moment when you scored and pointing up to the sky? What was that like for you?
I was so thankful. Just thankful to be in that opportunity because I didn't even play the first half of that game, and I really didn't even play till the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and they just threw you in.
Yeah, and we had talked about so many times. I think I said this before, but like we had somebody come in and give us the word or just give us some encouragement before each game. And one of the things that stuck with me was just take advantage of every opportunity that you get. And so my opportunity was 3 drives in the fourth quarter, and I made the most of it. And I was just so thankful that I even got that opportunity. And that celebration is something that I would do even in high school.
Yeah.
Just because sometimes I just couldn't believe that the Lord had blessed me to be in that position. You know what I mean? And so, I remember pointing up at the sky, looking up at all the snowflakes, and just like, this is a surreal moment. Like this is a movie type thing, you know?
Yeah,
So,
it really was.
So, that was awesome. One of the best moments in football that I've ever had in my life.
So sick, dude. So sick. And it's crazy, like, as amazing as your football career was, God closed the door for some. Do you ever wonder why he closed the door? Like, because the thing is sometimes the door will close and you're like, what the heck, bro? But in reality, he's protecting you from something. Maybe like 25 years into your career, something would have happened, or maybe you go and do that, you would have never found your wife and had your kid. Like, isn't it weird how that stuff works? Do you ever wonder why the door was closed, or are you just like, what? How do you feel about that?
No, I used to. And then seeing where I am now with a wife, with a son, like, it's like, man, I would do everything the exact same way if I get to do this again. You know what I mean?
100,
like,
yes.
I would give up, whatever, playing in the league, doing whatever, like, because this is where God wants me right now. Even like the teaching. I don't know, anybody teachers out there or want to be teachers or anything?
Macy. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
we got a few.
those kids will drive you absolutely insane. All right,
we know this.
But you want to go back, and you want to love on those kids, and you want to just be a part of something that feels like you're changing somebody's life.
Yeah.
And, maybe I don't get to change this kid's life if I'm playing on TV, or maybe I'm just on the practice squad or whatever. Like, I get that opportunity every single day, and I think that's something I wouldn't have been able to have if I was, if God had, or if I did it the way that I wanted to.
Yeah. God's plan, baby. Trust
Absolutely.
God's plan. It sounds corny these days, but like, it is true, bro.
Yeah.
Trust God's plan. He's got you. What's the time, Jack? Like on the board, you know what I'm saying? 42. How was that 42 minutes?
Yeah, it felt like a while up here.
Yeah, bro. We'll wrap this thing up. Did y'all like that though? We good? Okay, well, we're not completely going to wrap this up because I do want to say a few things. First of all, thank you guys for coming out. I'm glad that it wasn't out the door tonight because there was already a little noise. I couldn't imagine if we had the crowd we did last time. That would have been nuts. So you guys made this perfect for us. Thank you so much. Like, Jack, did you get a video of the crowd already? Yeah, get that. Hey, say what's up to the camera. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, I can't thank you guys enough for coming out here, spending time with me and Kellen. Kellen, I can't thank you enough, bro. Like, how many people would be down to, with a week's notice, hop on a live podcast episode in front of people, no real plan, drive an hour and a half? Like, dude, thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. I love doing this.
You love doing it?
I love doing it.
I love hearing that.
I mean, the past 2 podcasts, it wasn't in front of anybody. It was obviously out there on the internet and stuff. But being in front of you guys, being able to speak to people, and to you just catching up and stuff, I'll do this anytime. I love it.
Hey, we like to hear that, y'all. We like people that are down to build, bro. Yes. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you driving out here. Appreciate everybody coming out here. There's some new unreleased merch. If you're watching the video, by the way, this merch will drop on the website. Connor, what we thinking? Friday? Let's do Friday. We'll drop Friday. Look out. underwaterflatzone.bigcartel.com. Dropping on Friday. You already know. We got the vintage black. We got the pink on pink. And yeah, man. Can't thank you guys enough. Macy, was that a cool flick? Ooh. Hey. Yes, I bought that disposable camera for my Iowa trip, and then we had a few left. I was like, flick up for me. Anyways, all right, I could talk all night. I won't hold y'all though. Love you guys. Thanks again for coming out. We'll be running back another live podcast episode again here someday, but for tonight, that's all we got. Wait, is there any last things you want to say, bro?
I know we usually do this, so just something encouraging, like, or some advice
challenge.
or challenge.
Man, this dude's an OG.
Oh,
this
oh,
dude's
yeah.
an OG.
Oh, yeah.
He remember. Okay, cool. Yeah, end with that.
So my challenge is to find what you love to do and just go do it. Like, just, whatever you love to do, just go do it. Take a chance on it. Okay, it's gonna be worth it. You know? Like football for me, like that was worth it. I wouldn't change anything. Yeah. And then now taking that step and that chance to be a PE teacher, which I know some people, a PE teacher. You know what I mean?
I feel that, bro.
But like taking that step and it's like that's what I want to do.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna go do it. Okay, it's worth it. So my challenge, find what you love to do, take a chance, go do it.
Yeah, and my challenge going off of that is when you find what you love to do, and then you have that moment of like, oh, but people are gonna think this is weird. Like, I don't want to do that. I'm gonna stand out, bro. Get over that. Do what you want to do. If God tells you to do it and you feel like it's the right thing to do, do that. Like, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. You know how uncomfortable and weird it is to like post promos and be like, hey, I'm hosting a live podcast episode. Pull up. Like, people are like, what? What are you even talking about? But like, you just got to do it. You know what I'm saying? If it's what you believe, if you feel called to do it, do it. And then it always pays off, bro. Look, this was worth every bit of everything that went into it. I know this was only a week of preparation, but like, y'all don't even know the behind the scenes. I don't want to say stress because I love to do it, but the behind the scenes work that goes into doing stuff like this, it's a lot, but it's worth it every time. It's worth it thanks to y'all. And find what you want to do and do it. And don't let anybody stop you from doing it. Go do that. But I'm gonna catch y'all next time. If you want some merch, I'm about to head back to the table. I love you guys. Thanks for coming. Shout out El Dorado. Yes, sir. Was it good?
Yeah, I like it.
Connor, what do we think? What do we think,
It was
man?
amazing, bro.
If I could make my arm look like that, I would.
I saw you pull up, my boy. I was like mid-preaching, and I just looked out like, hey.
What's up, man? What's good?
The Atlanta Bluebirds. Let's go.
Good merch, not the bad one. What's poppin'? The great merch.
What do we think? What do we think of it?
I think I'm gonna get that brown one.
Ooh, classic brown. Let's go.
For sure.
Yes, sir.
I was trying to get that.
Drew Libbert, what do we think? What do we think, Drew Libbert?
I love Foster.
The Amy and Eric, what do we think? What do we think today?
I'm very proud. I thought it was great.
Perfect guest. Perfect guest.
Oh, yeah.
Great guest. Yeah.
Hey.
Let me get.
Yes, sir.
One of each color.
One of each color?
What do you think of it, Foster? Come on now.
I thought, bro, I just love doing this, Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's just what I love. There's nothing better than doing what we just did. It's a great night. I'm glad we got to get it in, too. Like, I'm thankful for God setting this up perfectly. Like, look at these. What are the odds these came in? The new tees came in. Man, what else happened? The episode worked out perfect. Blessing, bro. Blessing. Appreciate y'all watching. Hey, y'all better make sure to go subscribe. Oh, hold up. Hey, hold up.
I'm gonna be playing the key.
Obviously, your child won't get it.
Can y'all do something for me real quick? And can we celebrate this together? On Instagram, we're at 1,999 followers. Who's gonna follow? You get 3 free stickers. Who's gonna do it right now? First to do it. Who's gonna get us to 2,000? Come on! You got the spam account? Anybody got like a spam account?
Oh, I got the Eagles account.
You got time. We're still at 1,999. 1,999.
Will we see it? Will we see it?
Who's gonna do it? Let's go. Who's 2,000? Who was it?
No.
Damn it! I'll give you.
Just late.
Hey, if you go follow right now, you're gonna have
Just
some free
late.
stickers. I got you. Hey, wait, one more thing. Hey, hold up. We ain't finished yet. So we're at 500. Listen to this. On YouTube, we're at 593 subscribers. 7 more subs to get to 600. Can we celebrate this live tonight? Do we got enough people out here? Come on. 7 more people. Go subscribe right now. 7 more. Is everybody, are y'all really that real? Is everybody a real one? Y'all already subscribed?
I think.
Y'all can't, bro. Y'all that real? Everybody in here subscribed?
Oh, I'm not subscribed.
How sweet. Already subscribed. How sweet. All right. Let's go. 6 more. Can we do it? I don't know. Thank you guys. You have 2. We have 3 more. 3 more. Yeah.
So 20.
20.
Macy taking pictures. Macy, what'd you think?
That was so awesome. I need to go tell Kellen that was awesome.
Yeah. Come on, get me.
How did you think it
That was awesome. Foster's always talking about Kellen. Didn't get to meet him. Great dude. Couldn't have been a better guy for this episode.
I agree. Did you talk to him on the vlog camera?
Not yet. We will though.
Let's do it.
We'll get him. Okay, let's go get him right now.
Let's go.
No cuts. No cuts.
I just screwed my eyes.
You gonna come up to? I've been.
Mailman and Kellen, what do we think? What do we think of the pod today?
Oh, I think it was incredible. I think the person that he brought in was awesome. I mean, the story he told is priceless because I came here with, I was just going to go home and stick around at my house. He says, come on out. And he goes, yeah, you probably won't come out because I live in Blue Springs, but I did. Everything happens for a reason. I would have not have met him. I would have not have seen this. Everything. And he sent a great message. Kellen sent a great message. And, if you're not a non-believer, this would make you a believer for sure.
Kellen, what do we think?
It's awesome. No, I love doing this. And I said it in the pod, man. Just being out here, especially in front of people, this is awesome. Share my story. Connect with people. I love it. Doing awesome.
Oh yeah, appreciate you.
Hey, I appreciate everybody watching the video. Make sure to subscribe. I think we hit 600, but if we didn't, get us to 600. Love you guys. Catch you in episode 9, I think. Love you guys.